You know, I've had a couple people say to me, a couple other homeless people say that they've been told that being homeless has the same effect on your brain as going to war. It leaves you with the same level of PTSD, and I didn't believe it until I slept somewhere that wasn't my car. Well, I'm Dane, and I'm 19. I'm actually from around here. I've been homeless on and off since I was 15. I didn't have the greatest home life. My mother had been drinking, and then she passed away. So I was moving around, living in a suitcase and a backpack, staying on people's couches. Things got rough. I ended up having to run, and that is how I found Sisu. If it was not for this place, I would have ended up in a really, really bad situation.
As we approach the winter months, we'll have a lot of youth that no longer want to be out in the streets when it gets colder, so they'll be wanting beds and calling for beds. I'm Andrew Delali. I am on the board of directors for Sisu Youth Services. Sisu Youth is a local nonprofit shelter and drop-in center for homeless youth, and we also serve at-risk youth. So anyone who maybe is recently housed or at risk of losing their housing, they can access our services here.
It was kind of surreal because like 3 hours before we were here, we had an apartment. I was working as an electrician and we just ran out of work, but I didn't have any money coming in to support my apartment, and so I ended up homeless.
So Sisu provided us not only with a shelter, but it made us feel safe. Honestly, it was whenever I started really paying attention and really seeking mental health services. My mental health has always been something I've battled, but I'd never really taken it as seriously as I need to. At this point in time, I'm going to therapy weekly. I'm taking medication weekly, or daily, honestly, and I'm speaking with case managers weekly.
I'm Chris Williams. I work for Cedar Ridge Behavioral Hospital, and I'm the LGBTQ coordinator. Being LGBTQ is not something that you need to be fixed from. And so we're not broken, but we live in a society that does try to break us. And what that does is that it creates high anxiety within our people, high depression rates within our people, which then can translate into high suicide rates. So we know that youth, LGBTQ youth, or LGB youth are 4 times to 5 times more likely to attempt suicide, and trans youth are 8 times more likely to attempt suicide than their straight peers. So that's an epidemic as far as I'm concerned.
I haven't always been a big fan of therapy. I am in therapy now, which I wish I would have taken the help when I was here before, because it puts a very heavy cloud over you being out in the street and being, especially with the extra fear of not being straight and it being very obvious that I'm not straight and that I'm a queer trans man. So by not accepting the help, I think I caused myself a lot of issues.
Something that's really important to me, and it's a big reason that I'm very out as transgender and I'm very out as queer, is because there's a lot of people who don't feel comfortable being out, who don't feel comfortable talking about the fact that they're homeless. There are a lot of students in school who are sleeping outside and won't go get help because they're afraid of the way people will look at them whenever they do that. Maybe because of seeing me, a kid feels comfortable telling his teacher that he's sleeping on the streets, or telling his teacher that the reason he doesn't have money for lunch is because he's homeless, you know? I want to be the reason that somebody feels comfortable reaching out to homeless people in their life.
The Trevor project just came out with a study that one affirming adult lowers suicidality by 40% in an LGBTQ youth. That's huge. So a teacher, somebody within the church, anybody in the lives of our kids that says, I just see you, I affirm you, I love you, I think you're brilliant, you are literally saving people's lives. Why wouldn't you do that?
Being able to come here and hear Dane. When I first started staying here, I came from a family that was really, really not accepting. And I had to hear my dead name so much and so often. And I came in and they asked me what my name was and I didn't have to say that name. It got to get left at the door. And from spending all of my time feeling like I wanted to die because I was under that name, and then coming here with people who don't know me and them respecting me anyway, it does. I do think that that little bit of kindness, that little bit of care and consideration really can change somebody's life.
When you give a child and their family a sense of community and role models and people that they can access to receive these resources that they need, it's life-saving, life-changing experiences, relationships that children turn into doctors and physical therapists and recreational therapists. I might be talking about some that are coming up right now, or in academia, or a clerk at a store. You know, tax-paying citizens that have their problems just like everybody else, but have a sense of positive identity. One of the things I always say is that we don't accidentally have children, and we are not the reason for so many kids in DHS custody, but we are definitely a part of the solution. And so I wish other people could recognize that, so our children in the state of Oklahoma don't have the disparities that they don't have to have.